Good morning and welcome to Frank's School. I got my helper here trying to keep Blaze away from the camera. Brevity is the soul of wit. I have that's Shakespeare had his character Polonius say that to his son Laertes, I think, before he went off to the university. Brevity is the soul of wit. Anyway, I have a little story to tell you, and I suppose I should keep it brief if this is true. It has a sad part and a happy part. And I feel a little bit at the moment like the ancient mariner who just, I've got to tell this story before I can go on. My memory was jogged. Anyway, it's about a woman named April Clarke. I say woman, but I knew her as a girl. Class of 1964, that's when I graduated. She was in my graduating class, and so I knew her as a girl. April her mother was a gym teacher, either at the high school or the middle school, I'm not sure. And April was sort of tall and gangly and not at all feminine. She was awkward in many ways. But she was a friend of ours. There's more about April than obviously than I knew. But at that time we had a kind of a clique, I guess it's called, of boys who just thought we were so smart and so clever. And in fact, we were pretty smart and clever for kids that age. Two went to Dartmouth, I went to Harvard, one went to Bowdoin maybe, I'm not so sure, another one went to Wesleyan, of that little group. But it was very much a guy thing, even though it was intellectual. Anyway, April Clarke was kind of one of us in a way. She was so clever. She played the violin, which was an unusual thing at that time, and certainly didn't have very much money. Never heard and never knew anything about her father. Well, anyway, I'm telling you a lot about April because she is the main character here. The sad part, well, yeah, ultimately sad, is that April, I didn't see her again. I heard this. I'm passing the story on from what I heard. She eventually found her soulmate, as I understand the story. A man, I don't know his name, but I think together they played music for contra dancing or square dancing. This would be in the New England area, around in New Hampshire, I think. And I believe she was quite happy with that. Well, the man was a good bit older than her. I'm telling this as I know the story because I heard it, and I might not have the details right. The man was a good bit older than her. And when he died, I think of cancer of some natural cause, April was so distraught. They lived in the country somewhere, and that she set their house on fire, parked her car where she could see it burning, and ran the exhaust into the cab and died that way. That's the sad part. So April ended her own life. Well, now the happy part. Online, I made an acquaintance recently that was of that same class. Her name's Kathy. And talking about one thing or another, we got talking about French class. And she remembered she must have been in that same French class or had the same French teacher. And we had nicknamed him Fifi, which was an unkind thing to do in a way. I think it was because of his effeminate ways, although he did have a fencing club, which I joined. And I think it was probably because he spoke French the right way, as opposed to the teacher we had before. Now that's the one that I want to talk about, that jogged a memory. This teacher before, I don't remember her name, but she used to teach to the back wall, straight to the back wall, and she never looked down. The French class was small, but she never looked down as she taught. And what we did, us guys, and April, well, us guys mostly, almost in self-defense, a little out of boredom, we began to write doggerel. Now doggerel, you might not know that word. Doggerel is bad poetry. I'm not even sure if I'm spelling that right. It's not really even poetry. It's just rhyming verse. And we would write it and lay it on the desk of the student beside us. We all kind of sat together, and he would read it and then maybe add something to it. Always the rhyme was perfect in the meter. But it was, whimsical and funny. And one of the darn thing was to keep from busting out laughing when you'd read something like that. but the French teacher kept teaching toward that back wall. Anyway, one day April joined the fray. We used to put it on her desk too, but I don't recall her contributing anything else. And of course, all of it was just junk, ready to be forgotten. But one day on my desk, it appeared something that April had written, and she had simply written this. That's the way I spell it in my spelling system. What she had written there was this. Bye for now.